Hey, what's up, Green Day fans? I wanted to do a video to kind of talk about the differences between the early EPs and LPs that Green Day released, mostly on Lookout Records. Um, so I'm going to take a hack at it. I don't know if there's been a video that has kind of described um, these early releases, um, but I'm going to try to make one, and if I uh, get anything wrong, just leave me a comment down below. And also be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I have another video up that I did a few years ago of my complete vinyl collection. I've actually acquired a few more pieces since then. So at some point I'll do another video, an updated one. But yeah, let's talk about their early releases. So the first one, a lot of people think that their first release was Sweet Children because it sounds really old. The record sounds old. But it actually was released on a different company. It's labeled called Skeen. And it's actually the third EP that they released after 1,000 Hours, which was the first one, and Slappy, which was the second. So let's talk about 1,000 Hours. The first release was this one right here. It came with an insert. Some of these inserts are actually on yellow paper, folded in half. And on the back of the record, the way you tell the difference between early and later releases of this is that the early releases have the Laytonville address at the bottom. Also, interestingly, all these, as I'll show you, releases of this EP have Billy's name spelled wrong, Billy instead of Bille. So, kind of an interesting little bit. Now, the record was pressed on different types of vinyl. It was pressed on obviously black vinyl, but it was also pressed on clear vinyl, red vinyl, green, purple, uh, and also this blue, I think a dark blue, or maybe this is the purple release, that looks like this, kind of a clear color. And that release also has the Laytonville address at the bottom. Okay, next up, this re-release has had the original Laytonville address right here scribbled out. When they got a different address, they wrote the Berkeley address to the left right here. You can see the difference between these two. Just like that. They just scribbled it out. Quick fix. And later on, they decided, let's make it look a little bit better. So they scribbled it out, kind of papered over it, wrote in the right address, and had that sent out to be produced. So that's what one of the later editions looks like. Out of all the different EPs, probably 1,000 Hours has the most different variations. So I only have about 5 of them, but there are many more. Like I told you, there's also one with a pink sleeve, which is extremely rare if you find this record with a pink sleeve. But by far the most common edition of this record is this one right here. I call it a record, but it's actually an EP. This one right here, which has been now released in a cardboard sleeve instead of a paper cutout sleeve. And the different font is used to make it look more clean. Although, interestingly enough, they still have Billy's name spelled wrong. So, but there's the difference between those. And also a slightly darker color. I'd like to think it's a little bit more green than the other one. Okay, moving on. So that's their first release, 1,000 Hours. Moving on, we have Slappy. Now, Slappy is another cool record that's been released in a lot of different ways. So the EP was first released on black vinyl. And again, it has the Laytonville address in the bottom. P.O. Box 1000, Laytonville, California. And it was just a paper sleeve. On the inside, there were the lyrics and this little thing called Green Day Bits printed right onto the sleeve, like this. Get this out. Now, in the last version that Lookout Records released, they decided to make that Green Day Bits thing an insert like this, along with making the paper sleeve now a more sturdy, rigid cardboard cutout or cardboard sleeve. And again, all black vinyl. This version right here, with the Lookout Records Berkeley address in the bottom, is the most common edition of this. Also the least valuable of the different editions. Okay, so there were some colored variances on this record. Notably a yellowish green marbled vinyl and a more greenish plain green record. I'm not sure if you can tell the differences between those, but there is a slight difference with the greens. And again, on the back, it's also the Laytonville address. And also the Green Day Bits and lyrics printed on the inside of the sleeve. Here and here. And then finally, there were a couple other editions. One with a blue marbled color, which I think is really pretty, and with the Laytonville address on the back. And then this photocopied one with the black vinyl. And it has like a little, I'm not sure if you can see, little logo here. So it's been reproduced, but this is one of the later releases because it has Lookout Records in the back of it. Berkeley address. Again, not Laytonville. Cool, moving on. Let's go on to Sweet Children. Sweet Children, their third release. We all know it from being put on Kerplunk at the end of the record. This is not the first edition of this record. This is a European release. It was done on Epitaph Records and came with a later release pressing of Kerplunk. But the first release of this record looks like this and is done on black vinyl as well. That's what the record looks like. Front and back. Again, this was released on a record label from Minneapolis, Minnesota called Skeen. I don't believe they exist anymore. But, yeah. So the next one, the second pressing, is this interesting red cover of a decidedly broken down VW with the words, "What do you think, Mike?" on the bottom. And I apologize for the glare. There's a little bit of glare today. But it was done on black vinyl. It came with this little insert here. Nothing on the back, as you can see. And then the variant on that is this white vinyl one, which does not have an insert. It was also done on black vinyl. And I should also show you what the back looks like of these two. Also red and then white. And then the fourth pressing, this is cool. I found this on eBay and I snatched it right up because I don't think I've ever seen one since or before. And this is the fourth pressing of the record, done on this awesome clear red vinyl. And the music's exactly the same, but the cover is obviously different. And they claim it's because they are running out of covers for it. So it's kind of a cool collector item. Although, ironically, it says on the bottom here, keep in mind catering to collector scum by paying big money for something because it looks a wee bit different only makes you look like a sap. And I think that's kind of ironic, given that I'm making a video about these different records today. And also, that must also make me a sap. Okay, moving on. If only Green Day could have known how big they were going to make it, that there would one day be videos done of their early releases and the differences. Cool. All right, so moving on, there's some of these, we're going to go a little out of order. These bootlegs that were done. I got this at Amoeba Records in San Francisco several years ago, but I've seen it on eBay since. It's unopened. It's printed on green vinyl, and it's from a live show. And this is interesting. It has a different song here. And yeah, that's what that looks like. And it has obviously the Kerplunk Girl on the front. We all know her to look like this. She looks like she's been done wrong in this video, this record. Okay, and then this, I haven't seen too often. I believe I maybe saw it on eBay a couple times, but this is their 8th annual Christmas gig. 8th annual Xmas gig, I should say. Monday, December 23rd, 1991, TJ's Newport. And there's the track list down here, including some songs called What About Today, which I don't know what that song is. I have to listen to this sometime. I haven't listened to it yet. All right, and then lastly, we'll go over to the long plays. So there's 39 Smooth, which was the first record they released, not to be confused with the compilation record 1039 Smooth Out Slappy Hours, which was just that, a compilation of their first 2 EPs and their first album. This is not the first edition because it has the Berkeley address at the top, not the Laytonville. If you find one with a Laytonville address, that's the first edition of this record. So this was recorded at the very end of '89 into the early morning hours of 1990. And you can tell if you have the original edition or some of the reprints done by Lookout, they have a different kind of color hue than the later editions. Here's a later edition. This is a European release. And here's what the insert looks like. And this record was awesomely done on this cool split white and green vinyl, which I love. Then we have Kerplunk. Here's the original pressing of this. There was none that were done with the Laytonville address because the company had already fully been established at this Berkeley P.O. box by that point. And this record we all know to be the one that really started to make Green Day sound like Green Day, or at least they started to sound like early Green Day, like Dookie era Green Day in this record. So this has a special place in my heart, and it's also one of my favorite records that they ever did, and one of the largest selling independent label records ever. And then obviously they had re-released it. You can see here again the color differences between the Lookout Records release and later release versions. This one is again from Europe, and here's what the insert looks like. Has the fun My Adventure with Green Day story in the bottom of the or on the back of the insert, and is pressed on this sweet, just plain white vinyl. So that's about it. Let me know if I got anything wrong in the comments. I tried my best, and thanks for watching. Drop me a like, and take it easy. Bye-bye.